I mean, you're recording.
It's recording.
Okay. Hi, Joe. I thought I'd do you a little video instead of writing something down so you can actually have an interview. I can also send you something, but anyway, hello to your class, and I'm going to tell you about Hurricane Bob. What were you doing when Hurricane Bob hit? Well, we had gone to the Cape to spend a couple weeks, and we had picked the worst time to go to the Cape. We were in Onset, which is on Buzzards Bay, which is the worst hit part of Cape Cod, and we were just in this teeny little cottage. And so, do we have any advance warning? Yes, we had advance warning because the hurricane formed around Bermuda around August 16th, and it didn't land for another day and a half-ish in the Cape, so we had plenty of time. But we decided we weren't going to leave with the rest of the tourists who were evacuated to different shelters, or the people who left the Cape. We decided we'd stay. We were on vacation, damned if we were going to lose our vacation. So we, got supplies, and it was probably better because there was an 11-mile backup on the Sagamore Bridge that day, so a lot of people didn't even get to evacuate who wanted to. So, what do I remember? Well, it landed in the middle of the day, and it was very loud. There was just you couldn't hear anything over the sound of the wind and the rain just pelting the windows. We had done the X's like you do when you get a hurricane, and everybody lost power. So we had a whole night without power, and the adults would play cards and by candlelight, and the kids, we would tell each other ghost stories. So I was about 8 at the time. We were jumping on the beds. We had great fun. But I do remember that during that day when the eye went over, our mom let us go outside to see it, and it was just crazy. Like, the storm stopped, and it was quiet, and then it picked up again. So then the next day, when the storm had passed, we got to go outside and examine the damage. It was such a wreck. Everything. The shutters were off the cottage. The gutters were ripped off the cottage. There was down power lines everywhere you looked. And our dad took us for a walk to the beach. There was boats in the middle of the street that had been ripped up, and he was reminding me that like the tree by our cottage had tipped over, and these hornets' nests, they lost their hives, so they were going insane, and you couldn't even go anywhere near them because they didn't know what to do. And at our aunt's house, a tree had like fallen into her pool and just slammed right through the bottom of the pool because it was only the thin lining in the ground. So she had a tree like sticking out of her pool. That was how hard the wind had blown. And that was only a category 1 or 2 hurricane. So anyway, we what what did we do after? We ended up going home after. We did all that to sit through, and then there was no electricity for days. The house was a mess. The neighborhood was a mess. Our parents weren't going to let us play by down power lines, so we ended up going home for a few days. And then when everything was a little bit nicer, they let us come back. But the other thing I do remember is we tried to walk along the beach, and the wind was still so bad, and there was so much sand in it you could barely open your eyes. It just hurt. It stung from the sand still whipping through the wind the day after. And so anyway, what did I do to cope? Well, I was 8, and it was more fun than it was scary because in this day and age we did have a lot of time to prepare, and hurricanes aren't the same as a lot of other things. So if you're prepared and you're ready, and we knew that it wasn't going to be anything bigger than a category 1 or 2. So we had fun. We were just bummed that our vacation had been cut short. It was a lot easier for us because we were only on vacation. The people who lost their houses, that's a different story for them. They had a whole other thing to cope with. So anyway, that's basically what I remember about Hurricane Bob in 1991. Thank you.